Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing the first budget with me for the year, and it's going to be for the month of February. It has been a while since I have done my actual budget in here in my bullet journal, and so in case anyone forgot, this is how I like to do it. So the first thing I like to do is set up a couple goals, usually it's 2 or 3. Checking back in with these throughout the month will kind of just help me focus and make sure that I am doing what I wanted to do with my money this month. So I'm gonna write them down and then we'll go over them. Okay, so my first goal here is to fully fund my emergency fund to $1,500. I made it halfway in the month of January, so I'm really just wanting to fill that up so then we can start focusing on my debt. My second goal is to really track spending. I did start tracking spending the last couple of months, and I haven't been as consistent, but I have sort of gotten used to like the feeling of it. So I'm gonna fully track this month because it really helped me when I saw how much I was spending, especially on food, and where I was spending at. And then the third goal is going to be for me to apply to 3 scholarships. The debt that I'll be focusing on right after I fully fund my emergency fund is the balance that I owe to my school for this semester and last semester. So it's my goal to get a couple scholarships to help me lower the amount that I have to pay out of pocket. So I'm gonna apply for 3 scholarships this month. Okay, now that we have our goals set up, I am going to start listing out the different types of expenses. And I like to categorize my first section as weeklies. These are expenses that need to be taken care of every single week, but they don't necessarily have a due date. So this includes gas, groceries, and spending. So we have gas, groceries, and spending, and then next to it we have the amount of weeks in the month that we need to cover these expenses. So there's 4. And then this column is going to be how much these expenses need each week, which means this one is a total amount that I will be spending on these expenses for the whole month. So for gas, I need $50 each week, which ends up being $200 for the month. Groceries, I do $100 each week, which totals $400. Spending, I try to give myself $15. For 4 weeks, that'll be $60 for the month. So those are all of my weeklies. The next expense I'm going to be writing down is going to be auto pay. And these are the expenses that I always try to take care of first because they are going to try to get paid no matter what. So I always want to make sure I have these taken care of. Okay, so we have the expense, the due date, and then the amount. So we have loan, due the 6th for $125. That happens twice a month, so you see it here again on the 21st. And then we have afterpay due on the 8th for $63. That's actually for a couple of things. We're not really gonna get into that. These are my 2 last payments, so you'll see that again here. And then we have my insurance payment due on the 11th for $200. My insurance a couple months ago was at $137, but it did increase to $200 because of the accident that I told you guys about with my previous car. Even though I wasn't at fault, the insurance still increased my payment every month, so now I pay $200. And then we have my gym that's due on the 22nd for $75. Usually it's just $25 a month, but this month is my year anniversary and there is a $50 membership fee, so that is why the total is $75. Last month I forgot to include $25 to my gym balance to kind of make it a little bit easier, but I just completely forgot. So now we're paying the full balance now. And then lastly, we have Spotify, which is due on the 28th for $18, and then my savings, which happens on the 28th for $37. That goes into a couple different accounts. Some of them are not mine, but I don't really get into that as well. So the next section that I am going to be making and going over is going to be the regular bills section. So these are just the expenses that are not on auto pay. Okay, and so for this section, we have my counseling, which is gonna happen on the 8th, and that's gonna be $50. Sorry, my fingers are all red. I was eating hot chips. And then after that, I have my old car payment, which is due on the 13th for $183. Like I mentioned in my debt video, sometimes I pay this, sometimes I don't. Not because it doesn't get paid, but because sometimes someone else does pay it for me. But I don't really like fully depending on another person, so I always put it in my budget. And if the other person happens to pay it this month, then great, I'll have an extra $183. So next, we have my card that I have now, which is due on the 16th for $514. My Victoria's Secrets credit card, which is also due on the 16th for $40. My Sun Devil Auto credit card, which is due on the 1st, so March 1st for $55. And then lastly, we have my phone, which I just sent to my mom because I'm still under her plan. It's usually the last day of month, but I keep forgetting that February only has 28 days. So that's going to be due the 28th for $40. And so these are all of my actual bills. The next section that I like to do is the special events section. There is going to be one obvious special event happening next month, and that is Valentine's Day. So this is where you would put that, and then also if you like had any birthdays or if you were traveling or anything that usually doesn't happen every single month goes in this section. So I have technically three birthdays, because my friend Abby and Judith, they're twins, so obviously they're born the same day. Their birthday's on the 4th, and I plan to give them $20 each worth of gifts, so it's gonna be $40 total. And then my younger cousin Ryland's birthday is on the 5th, and I will be spending $25 on him. 25 is usually the average I like to spend on birthdays. At least that's what I try to keep it at. And then we have Valentine's Day, which is going to be the 14th, and I plan to spend around $120, just for festivities, just for any activities I want to do that day. I know that also at work, we do like to celebrate holidays and birthdays and all that kind of stuff, so for sure I'll be getting some smaller things for them, and then some things for my weekend trip, which is on the 18th, because the weekend trip itself is going to cost $160. That weekend I'll be going up to my great grandma's house, because my grandma actually wants to do like a Valentine party with everyone, but it's going to be up north. So part of that budget is going to be from that as well. So those are all of my expenses for this month. There is a little bit more than usual. Usually there's not the afterpay. Usually the loan is less. And then there have been some increases in some payments. But we're just gonna keep moving forward. After I have all of my expenses listed out, next I like to list my income. Then we can start plugging this into there. So now I have all of my income written out. And sorry if you hear someone in the background, I'm not the only one here right now. So we have my first paycheck I'm gonna receive from my job on the 3rd. I am expecting $970, which is not the typical amount that I get paid. I usually get paid around $930, but I did do some overtime. So I'm expecting it to be $970. When I actually get paid and see how much it is, I'll go ahead and update that right here. And then this next page here, I'll be paid on the 17th, and I am expecting an increase to $1,080. And that is because I actually just recently got promoted. So I went from a customer service person at my job to an assistant manager, and with that did come an increase in pay. So I'm just estimating that with 80 hours, it'll come out to about this. Again, once I do get paid and I see how much I actually did get paid, I'll update that right here. And then this page is my last income page. So this one is a little bit tricky. So there's no date right here because I don't get paid a specific day with the income that I make online. It basically just builds up, and then whenever I want to withdraw money, I will withdraw money. So that is why I don't have a date here. When I do decide I'm ready to withdraw that money, I'll go ahead and fill in the date. And where it says expected income and it says 532, the 532 is just the amount that I will absolutely need to cover all of my bills this month. And then underneath for actual income, I'll go ahead and update that with the actual amount that I end up withdrawing, because it is going to be higher than the 532 because, like I said before, I want to save this month and a couple other things that I want to take care of. I just don't know exactly what that amount will be because I just don't know how much I'll actually make this month. So now that all of the income is written out, we'll start plugging the expenses in. The first thing that I like to plug in are the weekly expenses. And so for 1 week, it costs about $165. but I'm going to put it in for 2 weeks, so it's actually going to be $330. I'm going to write right here $330, and then once I get my money and actually start paying my bills and stuff, I'm going to write right here what I actually ended up putting down for it. Same exact thing for this one. And I'm actually going to start putting little check marks next to these ones because we've got them figured out now. And then, like I said before, I really like to take care of the auto pay first. So I'm going to take care of all of the auto pay expenses on this paycheck that are due before the 17th, before I get paid again. So that is going to mean the loan, Afterpay, and then insurance. Okay, so I don't actually have my calculator with me, so you're gonna have to bear with me. We are going to subtract all of these from the 970 to see how much we have left. And then we're gonna check mark these off. Okay, so we have $252 remaining, and we do have some bills here that do need to get taken care of. So I'm for sure going to do the counseling. And then I'm actually gonna do these birthdays right here. And so after these expenses get subtracted, that leaves us with $137, and that is enough to cover Valentine's, which will leave us with $17, I believe. Yes, so quickly I'm just gonna check mark these off because we took care of all of these. We did also take care of counseling. Okay, so the next auto pay expense is not until the 21st, so we're good on that side. Now we can do one of these expenses. We can put $17 probably towards the Victoria's Secret's credit card on the 16th. To reach the $40 amount that I am going to owe, that leaves us with $23. We have to put for it on the next paycheck. Okay, then I'm gonna start putting in the rest of the auto pay. So that'll be loan, gym, Afterpay, Spotify, and savings. And then I'm gonna also put in the weekend trip expense there as well, which will leave us with just the expenses on the regular bills section. Okay, so after all of these expenses are subtracted from my income, I have about $249 left over. So let's check off everything taken care of. Everything on the first page is done. So next we will take care of the car, which will be $183. And so after that, there is $66 remaining, which will get put towards my new car. And the full payment for my new car is $514, so we're gonna take away $66, and then whatever is remaining we'll put onto this income we're gonna receive. Okay, so $448 is going onto that next paycheck. So all that we have left is going to be the Sun Devil Auto Credit Card for $55, and then phone for $40. And so these three remaining expenses actually equal $543, not $532. So I did my math wrong. But that's okay, I'll use my handy dandy whiteout to fix that. Now I'm gonna list some expenses that I would like to put money towards with the extra money from this income. So first thing we're gonna do is rent. I live with my mom, and she doesn't require me to pay her any rent, but I do like to help her out. And so depending on how much I make for this month with my online income, that'll decide how much I'll give her for rent. For savings, I'm going to say that we would like to put at least $600. I believe that will get us to the amount that we need to fully fund our emergency fund, but that could change, and that's why we have this whole space right here. After that, I would like to add some to my Christmas sinking fund and then the travel sinking fund. I'm not going to list any amounts because, again, that just depends on how much I make and how much is left over after I am able to add anything to savings. I'm also going to add debt. I'm feeling very optimistic about this month. We have completely budgeted for the month of February. It definitely feels and looks a lot different than it did last year, and it is my first time back, so I am definitely still trying to get used to some things. For example, I forgot the things right here, so I'm still trying to get back into all of this. But I feel really good about this month. I feel really good about knowing what I want out of this month and where we are going, so that when we do get money, we are not going to be irresponsible with it. Okay, so I do get paid this Friday, so either my cash envelope stuffing or my budget update will be uploaded on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not quite sure yet. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here with me and helping me get back into budgeting. All right, have a good week. Bye.